Hello everyone, welcome back to another 1v1 battle. I'm going to be bringing the Beastmen for this one, and we are facing off against the Empire. The Beastmen are just a very fun rushdown faction to play sometimes. Sometimes. They're not my favorite faction, but sometimes I feel just like throwing a bunch of units at a player. And the Beastmen can do that. So for my army here, we have 2 Ungor Spearmen on the wings. We have 2 Bestigor Herds kind of in the middle. And then 2 Gore Herds here. We have the Brace Shaman of Beast for the Flock of Doom spell. Morgor of the Shadowgave because he is the best leader that the Beastmen have, in my opinion. With the nerfs to the Cygor summon, just, well, because it dies now. Morgor the Shadowgrave, I think, is by far the best one. We also have the 2 Gore Bulls, which are a staple in any Beastman army. We also are bringing a Chariot, because I'm trying the Razor Chariot out this time. And then we have 1 group of Harpies for attacking, ranged units or retreating units. For the Empire player, we have a Karl Franz coming at us with an Empire Captain. I'm currently trying to get our Harpies away, because we do not want to engage them right now with the Harpies. And then they are going to have 2 Empire Knights on the flanks. The front line is going to be held up by 2 Spears, 2 Swords. We also have a Light Wizard, 2 Crossbowmen, a Flagellant, the Tattersouls. Then we have 3 Mortar Teams. I can understand bringing Mortar Teams against the Beastmen. They have a lot of lightly armored soldiers. The thing is, though, a lot of their soldier units here, they kind of come in a composition or in a formation that is very loose, so the explosion damage isn't as impactful. The most you're going to get is going to be like against an Ungor Spearman, who's a densely packed unit. These Gore Herds are usually spread out, so that kind of negates some of the effectiveness of Mortar Teams, in my opinion, I guess. Over here, so Karl Franz and the Empire Captain looked like they were going to make a move towards a Razor Chariot, so I moved the Chariot towards the center of a formation instead of on the flank, and I put the 2 Gore Bulls over there, and now it looks like they're going to be hitting the wings of our flank, which is okay. We're going to be running the Gore Bulls over there to apply pressure so they can't just stay there forever. You can see the mortars are now dropping their ordnance on the center of our line, these Gore Herds with shields. Also, where Morgor and our Brace Shaman is, I'm going to be casting a Flock of Doom on the center of their formation. And I think the player may be too focused with micromanaging their knights currently and Karl Franz, the Empire Captain, that they may not even see what's happening. But you can move out of this area, but the player did not, so we got a lot of pretty good damage there on their units. Meanwhile, again, they are still just pummeling our center of our position with the Mortar Teams, doing some okay damage. All said and done. Our Harpies and our Razor Chariot is going to be coming around the left flank because we want to stay away from Karl Franz because he can easily stop a Chariot or Harpies for that matter. Over here, we almost catch the Empire Captain, and we do hit Karl Franz, I think, once with the Gore Bulls, but they do run interference with his Empire Knights, and it was a good move. They stopped us from being able to pin them to the ground, and now the Empire Knights are going to get out of there. And right now, I am currently micromanaging in a way. So my army, the way I do this, the entire army is in a locked group. Usually I put it on one locked group. And then I just right-click once. The entire group is going to be given assigned, attack orders as long as they're locked. And that's what I usually do. The problem is these 2 Spearmen over here that I went to go attack the Empire Knights, and then this Spearman who was attacking this Empire Knight, they were still all in the group. So when I gave that attack order for the entire group, which again, these are still part of that, this entire formation seems like it kind of wants to wait for the other units to get close by before it charges. So right here, you kind of see we move back a little bit, and I'm like, what the hell's going on? What's going on here? Charge them, run into their face. And I think this part was messed up because part of the locked group was still back here. So I had to unlock the group and very quickly try and give a bunch of assigned orders to the Chariot. I had to give a lot of individual attack orders to our units here to try and get them into the lines because you can see they're just getting peppered by the crossbowmen. I'm like, good God, for the love, attack please. Getting our 2 Spearmen back over here, getting the Gore Bulls over here. There's a lot of stuff happening at once. Which was very annoying for me. Going to drop another of the Flock of Dooms in the center of their line. You can see our Gore Herds have taken a massive amount of damage. One is actually going to be routing. Luckily, this one is still in full strength. Going to hit the Spearman group. This group of Harpies, I thought I gave an attack order to the crossbowmen below them, but apparently in my haste to micromanage Chariots and everything else, I just gave them a move order. So they're just going to sit there and get shot for a while, because they like to get shot by arrows. It's kind of the thing they do in the mornings. Meanwhile, our 2 Gore Bulls are going to be chasing Karl Franz and the Empire Captain, who's hitting a position wherever the Gore Bulls are not. So that's very good on my enemy doing that. And then they're also going to cast with the Light Wizard the net here and going to charge in with the Empire Knights, but the charge is actually maybe kind of canceled there at the end. That was a very lackluster charge. Yeah, I guess they decided to go hit something else. I think they're going to hit our left flank over here. Meanwhile, the Brace Shaman and the Best Bud Morgor are going to pierce the lines. We have summoned a group of Chaos Spawn by destroying a group of swordsmen that were near death. So that's why we have those Chaos Spawn there. And my Harpies, I finally gave the attack order to get into the crossbowmen. They're going to rout and then come back. Karl Franz and the Empire Captain are crushing our left flank. We're going to send our now free Chaos Spawn. This is the actual just summoned one. This one was the one that we had to kill a unit for. And then the 2 Gore Bulls are going to go over here to try and kill him. But again, he's going to be able to run away and run interference with the Knights. So we're going to deal with the Knights instead. Over here on the enemy's left flank, we charged them with the chariot and routed the spearmen pretty quickly, and now we're going to, I think, send them into the group of flagellants that are now being fought against by our Ungor spearmen and one of our summoned Chaos Spawn. Remember that the Beastman Chaos Spawn do apply poison damage to the units, so just keep that in mind. And my Brave Shaman is over here trying to wreck this mortar team. The other two mortar teams have already been destroyed by the Ungor spearmen, and I think that's just it. The Ungor spearmen just collapsed on this position here. Morgor's going to get in here as well and try and rout off the Light Wizard. Morgor is a very tanky, decent melee fighter, actually. With his regeneration ability, is pretty good. You can see over here, the Ungor Spearmen are actually going to hold for a while because their Frenzy ability makes them immune to psychology, so they're not being affected by fear and terror right now. Now, when it drops below 50%, then that's when you're going to see their morale just kind of tank. But as long as they're above 50%, Frenzy kind of protects them from terror and fear. That's almost every single Beastman infantry unit, I believe. So they're pretty strong against terror until their leadership hits 50%, then they tank. So over here, I was just totally fine with destroying the Empire Knight, trying to get them off the field with these Chaos Spawn, our Bestigors, and the two Gorbals. So now we're going to charge back across the field, trying to catch them. But you can see they're going to fly above the battlefield again, so we're just going to charge this group of spearmen with the chariots, get some free kills there. Meanwhile, the flagellants are holding on, but we are collapsing everything against them. Our Harpies are chasing off some units to try and make them break for good. Our Morgor and the Brave Shaman routed off this group of mortars, so now they're going to return back to the battle. You can see Karl Franz almost thinks about landing, but the Gorbals are there. And then I think maybe, it looked like they kept giving themselves different move orders, and maybe they accidentally attacked this Bestigor instead of moving, because you can see the Empire Captain is moving away. So I'm thinking this was Miss Micro, because you can see they immediately are trying to get out of here. We did get a couple hits with the Gorbals, so well, actually, I guess we made them rout there. I guess that's what happened there. And then when Karl Franz is going to start routing, the Empire Captain and everybody else is going to rout just due to enemy, or just the losses across the army, and the flagellants are finally going to fall. So a good game to our opponents. The Beastmen, like I said, they're a very good rushdown faction, and this player didn't have enough tools to keep the just sheer high amount of number of infantry that I had to keep them at bay to protect the squishy mortar teams in the back and the two crossbows. It's hard. The Empire Knights, though, they did a pretty good job at charging here and there. And they also did a really good job of keeping Karl Franz and the Empire Captain away from the two Gorbals, who I was trying my best to keep them on the ground and destroy them, but the player was really good at responding and not allowing these two Gorbals to do their job. So for kills here, we got a decent amount of kills, kind of across the board. Gorhorde, 69 kills. The best scores didn't do as much, but they did do some damage to Knights, and then I guess like Swordsmen. Razor Chariots, 99 kills. Not bad. The recent buff to Chariots, I think, is just really good. It actually makes them a viable unit. At the same time, I just don't think they're overpowered at all. Like, I think they're really nicely balanced the way they are currently. They take a great deal of micromanagement to pull off, but I'd say it's worth it. I say it's definitely worth it. The Harpies, I mismicroed in the middle of that battle, as I explained earlier, and they just got torn to pieces for the most part. But hey, they still managed to net 35 kills too. For the Empire player here, 53 kills on Karl Franz. Empire Captain, 37 kills is pretty good. The front line, like, one of the weakest parts, like, the Empire is very strong because of all of the tools that they have. But the thing is, we were able to shut down their crossbowmen and their backline very quickly, so they could not support the front line, who in general is just weaker than the Beastman's infantry is. Like, if they had some great swordsmen in here, they would have held on a lot longer and dealt a significant amount of damage. That's why I even brought these two best scores to counter great swords. But in this case, the front line was not strong enough, and we were able to just kind of wrap around the flanks and actually just charge to the middle and shut down all of the squishy supporting bits, including the Light Wizard. For this build, if you want to bring a Light Wizard, who's totally fine, totally a great wizard choice, for me personally, I would net the Gorbals, which was a good move, and then instead of these two crossbowmen, I would probably get 2, if not 3 handgunners, nix. Like, if you could bring a mortar, but I would nix 2 of them. Also, it looks like they spent money in upgrading these mortar teams. You could bring a mortar, I would nix 2, get 3 handgunners, and like a great sword or 2 to hold up the front line of all of these infantry, because like the great swordsman can actually chew through most of the Gore herds, and they can actually go one-on-one, I believe, with the best score herd in most cases. But yeah, so Light Wizard, handgunners, nix these 2 and get a couple great swords instead of the mortar teams, and I think this would be a much more capable army against the Beastmen. You net the Gorbals, you shoot them up with the handgunners, they melt very fastly, what am I saying? Very quickly, since they don't have potions of toughness anymore, and then Karl Franz can mess up Morgor and melee, and great swords can mess up the infantry of the Beastmen. That's just my suggestion. If you want to do the Light Wizard composition. For this one, I think they would have been better off with a Life Wizard to support Karl Franz and the Empire Captain in killing our Gorbals. I would have, well, anyway, I'll stop critiquing. I hope you enjoyed the battle. Let's watch a cinematic view of the Warherd of the Shadowgave. Shadowgrave would have been much better than Shadowgave. Just my opinion. Incoming! Whew. I think most of those should get back up. So, like, on paper, mortar teams should do really well against the Beastman infantry line. The problem is, though, Beastmen are so damn fast with that Frenzy ability. Wait, is it called Frenzy? Primal Fury. Sorry, it's called Primal Fury. You can see they 42 movement speed, so they get across the battlefield so fast, and it doesn't allow the siege to really have that much time to shoot them to pieces. Also, like I said earlier, their spread out formation kind of makes them a little more resilient to mortar explosion fire and like grenades and things like that. Here I was really hoping to destroy this Empire Knight group. That's why I was sending the second Ungro Spearman, but they got out of that one. And I think this is where we're gonna have the micro issue when all my units are just gonna be like, oh wait, we gotta wait for all the spearmen, man. They want to have some fun too, and I'm like, what are you doing? Your backs are to the crossbowmen. Stop it. I was frantically clicking. Like, my clicks per minute just shot up like 200 when this started happening because I had to micromanage everything at once. God, I was so frantic. Hard to tell here because you don't hear me furiously clicking my mouse and giving orders, but trust me, it was frantic. There goes our summon Chaos Spawn to try and keep Karl Franz on the ground, which was their intention, to allow time for my Gorbals to come over here and destroy him. But even poisoned, this little punk is gonna fly up. Karl Franz is totally usable now since the life lore was introduced to the Empire, by the way. Healing Karl Franz, putting him with that regrowth spell, I think it's called, is just really good. Chariots are just really well balanced now. I actually like them. It only took, what, like 7 months? But hey, they got there. That Bestigor's like, where are you going? Huh? Where are you going? And then Morg was like, it's cool, man, I got this. You go back to fight the Tatter Souls. Ooh. Ooh. Man, Gorbals. Even with the nerf to potions, man, they can still be so nasty. Oh, I pulled him off. Oh, I was hoping to see a charge there. The chariot got in the way of my Gorbals. Oh my god. Chariots have betrayed me. Are we going to get a charge now? Aww. Wow. That would have been glorious. So yeah, so far I've tested their chariots. I've tested the Chaos ones. I've not tested the Greenskin one. I imagine it'll be very similar to the Razorgore chariot because they're very similar in stats. The Goblin chariot, I have not tested yet either in melee. But I imagine that will be slightly better too. I don't know. I still have to give that one a try. I really do want to try it out. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed the battle, everybody. I will see you all in the next one. Take care.